All right, guys, this is just a little bit of a CinemAddicts thing. We're back. Anderson, what have you, last 7 days, it's been 7 days since we've talked. We just got over a Patreon episode, which, by the way, Anderson, you disappointed me with these two movies. I don't even know how to speak right now. Are you okay with that regarding the last week? What have you been watching that's really interesting? Obviously not some spaghetti stuff, but what have you liked recently?
So I watched Breaking, which you recommended. You sent to me because of my love for John Boyega.
Thank you. Well, first of all, John Boyega, Oscar nomination, right, Anderson?
I think he might be in the running for an Oscar nod here. I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, I went out on a limb and said Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is going to be up for multiple Academy Awards, but I have not heard anyone talk about Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris since.
And did I steer you the wrong way? I did, right? I overpraised it.
No, I mean, I saw what you were putting down with Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. The final act kind of withdrew a star or two for me because I didn't buy some of the motivation there with Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. But it's the most beautiful movie I've seen all year. It's fantastic to look at, and the story is good. And if you love dresses or Christian Dior, you're going to love this movie even more than I did, possibly even more than Greg. So, but I thought that it was going to be up for multiple awards. Her for Best Actress, Best Cinematography, Best Set Design, Best Costumes, obviously. And I don't know. I mean, it's
Does it have a chance? Do you think it died? Do you think it died on the vine? Or do you think...
Might have been released too early, and I'm not hearing any buzz about that movie. It came and went without any kind of disruption.
Okay, now speaking of buzz, Breaking, obviously Friday, August 26th in theaters. You're saying John Boyega, based on a true story, mini review. Does this movie work? Do you recommend people see this in theaters, or maybe just wait when it hits streaming or digital?
Performance-wise, it's fantastic. Everyone in it, but it's especially John Boyega is great. It's a side of John Boyega I had not seen. Eric Holmes suggested that he was doing his best Denzel Washington interpretation. I could see that impersonation. I could see that to an extent, but he was also bringing his own flavor, and he was unrecognizable. I kept forgetting that it was John Boyega. That guy is just he's just so good. I love him. So that was great. Also, apparently, it's very, very true to the actual events that took place, which makes it, elevated from just another, heist gone wrong movie. But it takes place in a bank at a Wells Fargo, and he has a bomb, and he wants to get his gripe out to the world, essentially. And he uses these two bank tellers as his hostages. And he's a lot of negotiation with Michael K. Williams.
He's owed money. He's owed $892.
Well, I mean, that's a spoiler, Greg.
Is that a spoiler?
Yeah, like halfway through the movie is when you find out what he's actually after, and it's kind of like, oh, geez, man, $892.
Do I cut that? I'm going to cut that. Okay, because
that's not going to ruin the movie for you.
That's the original movie's title. Did you know that, Anderson? $892. Did you know that?
But that would have been a fun discovery. Like, why is this called 892? And then you get there halfway through the movie, you're like,
Oh, really? Okay, so
but it's. Yeah, he was sympathetic to an extent, but they leaned heavy in the paranoia and the mental illness, which I don't know if people are going to be able to connect with. I think a lot of people are going to watch this movie and go, yeah, he got what he should be brought up on charges. Look what he's doing. He's putting two moms' lives at risk. So I don't know if they sold the audience, me included, on his cause enough, but or his desperation. I don't know if that was really palpable. However, his performance is great. This is a movie which I'm usually skittish with, where I hear like, oh, it's great performance, you got to see other performances. A lot of the time that's like a movie like Apostle, where it's like performance is great, the rest of the movie is like So yeah, I liked it. Another 3-star movie for it.
Oh, it's just straight up solid 3-star rating for you.
Yes.
What do you think I gave this movie?
So many 3-star movies right now.
What do you think I gave Breaking? What do you think I gave it?
4 or 5, I'm going to say 4.5. I'll go.
I'm very on brand. I'm giving this movie 4 stars. 4 stars for Breaking. Definitely, I would say see it in theaters. But you're saying wait a little bit on streaming, it's still worth a worthy watch. Strong performance. Before we go, Anderson, Nicole Beharie, she has a pretty prominent role in the movie. She's one of the tellers in the bank, and she has a back and forth with the Marine veteran Brian Brown, easily played by John Boyega. During the interview, I had her for about 4 or 5 minutes for another movie, and I asked her what's one of her favorite movies. And she, for the first time in a couple of years, she was one of the only people who actually trumped me.
Dinner in America.
Which one?
Dinner in America.
Right. By the way, that's your favorite film of the year, right? That's going to be your number one, Dinner in America?
Yeah, there's no way it gets surpassed.
There's no way. Okay, her number one, one of her all-time favorite movies is a movie called Mirror, directed by Andrei Tarkovsky. over my head. I've never seen it. Anderson, probably only Bruce Perky has seen it. Do you even know Tarkovsky? Have you seen it? Solaris? That's probably the only one you've seen, right?
I have not seen Solaris, so I don't know if I've seen any of his stuff. Yeah.
Wow, see? So you thought you and I were smart, but mirror for Tarkovsky.
I never thought I was smart.
Oh,
Talking
maybe.
about Greg.
Maybe I'm just
False rumor.
yeah, that's it. Before we go, yeah, I'm not smart. Anything else you want to tell us before we go, Anderson? Because you have a busy day. Thursday, Friday, Addie's Antiques or
Beast.
other stuff.
If you're going to see Beast, see it in the theater. If you're not going to see it in the theater, don't see it at all. I think the only thing that brings Beast to life and is worth your eyeballs and your time is some of the stuff that the Lion does, the CGI and the attacks, as well as great performance by Idris Elba. I miss him so much. I get to see him again next week with the new George Miller film, which title continues to elude me, 3,000 Years to Graceland or something like that. But yeah, Idris is great. The Lion, there's a couple scenes that are really, really good. Other than that, it's just a paint by numbers three-star movie. But if you see it in a good theater, it got me a couple times, Gregor. And Squeal, which I'm still processing. I'm still trying to figure out what Squeal.
Yes, Squeal, one of my favorites of the year. Yes,
is it really? It's a meditation on what it's like to be a pig from a human point of view, I think, and it's commentary on livestock and how we treat our food. And
how about how we treat other human beings as slaves, maybe? Or no? Am I reaching too much?
I think it's mainly going for farm animals, but perhaps, I mean, there's a little bit of that with the brothers for sure, but I don't know if I picked up quite everything. This is fresh. I just finished it last night, watched it last night. So let me ruminate on it for a little while before I talk to you anymore about Squeal. I'll be covering Squeal with the bald one, which I assigned it to him. Bald Brian and I are going to be covering on the Film Vault next week.
Okay, cool. Did you guys cover Breaking as well this week on the Film Vault?
I will be next week, by myself.
Okay, very, very cool. And yeah, keep on processing Squeal. By the way, at least baseline, did it leave an impression on you?
Oh yeah, I mean it's one of those movies. Okay. For sure. I mean, I left it, and if I saw it 10 years ago, I'd be like, "What the hell am I watching?" But these movies, especially like this isn't an A24 movie, but it easily could have been. Like these movies are you're seeing many more of these types of movies where it's just like, "What the hell am I watching?" Going back to Yorgos Lanthimos's Dogtooth. I get it's the same kind of tone, right? Not as good as Dogtooth, but the same kind of tone where it's just like, what are they trying to lay down here? What are they trying to get me to feel as an audience member? I'm not sure. I'm off balance here.
All right, Anderson, time for lunch. Thank you so much for your time. And hey, by the way, check out our Patreon episode where we talk about two of Anderson's favorite movies. That would be what, Django and Seconds? Is that the two of your favorite movies?
Yeah. Two of my new favorite movies. I'm actually, let me get back onto to eBay. I'm trying to buy actual authentic posters from them from 1966 to frame and put in my house.
Thank you, buddy. I love you.
Goodbye. I love you too, buddy.